Franklin and Bash, Season 4, Episode 5, Deep Throat. I really enjoyed this episode. For some reason, I thought that the main case that they did in this one was better than the other ones they had this season so far. And I don't really know why, honestly. I think it's because, aside from the actual case that they had from keeping the kid from not only being expelled, but actually going to prison by the end of the episode, they were like that storyline actually had another story within it to figure out who actually did tamper with the ballot, even though it was ultimately like just really ridiculous. Like, it's such a weird thing to even for the principal to have even been paid to do that. It's such a crazy thing for someone to do. But weird high school stuff and people being super rich and low self-esteem, I don't know, but it was it was a weird ending to that story. But I enjoyed that, and I really loved the actual character of the guy that they were helping, because he had like really high ethics as a journalist, and so he wouldn't give up his source, and he would invoke rights that he had as a journalist even though he could be held in contempt of court. And I just really thought that was cool how they had to work around his character, which they do in pretty much every episode. They work around the crazy problems they have, but I feel like it was a little different because this time it wasn't just, oh, we found out this random thing and now we have to figure out how to work with it. It's just the actual person they're working with. He isn't being stupid or anything. He's just being himself. He's being very ethical, and he's like, him not giving up his source. He wasn't doing that just because he was a journalist, although I'm sure he would have done it anyway based on the character we got to see in this episode. But he knew that if he gave up his janitor as the actual source, then this janitor would have been fired for working at the school after hours and working on his GED. So I thought that was really cool. I just enjoyed the character as a whole. So I really enjoyed the main story. It also had like another little story mixed in there with Bash trying to, I can't think of his first name right now for some reason, Peter, uh, trying to kind of rekindle an old flame. So I thought that was cool. And of course, we got a great joke out of that. I thought it was funny. Them kind of like, once they brought that up and they just kept making those little jokes about him, I just thought that was really funny. And by the end, Jared had no idea where the whole deep throat thing came from. I thought that was really funny too. But I enjoyed the main story. There are also two other side stories which are really good. My Out of the two little side stories, I definitely enjoyed the one with Jared and Swatello more. Just because it was cool to see them actually interact as a real couple, which I didn't think that they were even like having sex this season. I thought she really did stop that. I may have been missing some scenes, but I honestly thought with the way that she was acting that she really was just like cutting all that off, and she was really rejecting him for real. But we actually saw that they were together in this episode, and I really did enjoy the scene where they had the discrepancies. I thought that was really funny, and he just wanted it to stop. But it was really good. I'm excited to see them sort of make things work. I'm sure it'll work out. Like, it's kind of crappy right now, but I'm sure at some point things are gonna work out. They're gonna end up working a case together or something crazy like that, and things will fix themselves in due time. But I thought that was a really cool part of the story. I thought it was really funny, and it was, like I said, interesting to see that they were actually being together in the office. And it was just, they had the funny moments, but they had the little serious moment at the end. And like I said, Jared believes it's over now, but with it being television, I'm sure something's gonna happen. And it's gonna bring them both together. But the other story with Infeld basically trying to protect his firm from being kicked out of the building, I did think that that was really funny, especially that very first scene where the guy came in and Infeld's like, oh no, she's a lawyer, she's one of the best in the town. And just the face the woman was making, I thought was really funny. And then they actually do the case and stuff, and she's nervous and she says like, $500,000. I thought it was really funny. I did enjoy that scene, and it was cool that that ended up working out in the end as well. But I just thought that was really funny. I enjoyed it. But overall, definitely a great episode. We got to see more of the private investigator. Every time he's in there, he's just really silly. Like, him, it's like they kind of established a thing after, I want to say it was last week or it was maybe the week before, but after he kind of made that weird mistake with Jared with searching stuff that Jared didn't really want him to search, and he was like, I'm not saying anything. He was like, and I hear what you're not saying. After that, it's like they just have a system where Jared says like, I don't want this, and then he does it anyway, and it's just really funny. And they had a lot of the silly jokes where he does all this weird illegal stuff, like when they didn't know what the weird words that the girl was abbreviating in the text message, he was like, I'll run it through like the NSA language translator, and it was just like a passing scene. Like that's what he said, and then it went right to the next person, and I thought that was really funny. And he got the addresses and the names and the social security numbers of all of Jared's old bullies, which I thought was really funny too. But he just had a lot of silly one-liners, like why is he just all this random, super technical, illegal stuff. I actually really thought was pretty funny, so I enjoyed him a lot in this episode. Even though he's only in there, he really just had those little one-liner parts, but I definitely enjoyed that. And also him having the weird side job where he photocopied a teacher's journal, which I don't know what that was for, but I thought that was funny too. But definitely enjoyed this episode. It's probably my favorite this season so far, with the main case having entertained me so much, and them having so many different stories in this. Like they had the main case, and then there was a love story because the mother uh, knew Peter, and just all the different stories in that. It was three stories in one, just right there, and then they had the actual two other side stories. So maybe that's why I felt like this episode was really, really rich. It had a ton of stuff going on at once, and it didn't feel cluttered. It just all kind of went, and it was all in one episode, but it worked. So I think that's why I kind of enjoyed this one so much. But it was definitely a great episode. I'm excited for next week, of course. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And since this one did have almost five stories in one, if you kind of separate them like you want to, which was your favorite story in this episode? Was it one of the side stories, or was it the main story? And I guess you could kind of count the two mini stories inside of the actual big case as side stories as well if you want to. But comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.